Greetings, everyone. This is Rock and Roll Spot Connection with another installment of Building the Team. So, last week we did the 666 point game. I ended up running Trigon against a team that consisted of just a lot of standard figures with, mostly low points. Or, well, low points. I mean, there was... You had to have some healthy point values on there. Trigon did alright. In fact, I lost by 3 points. Against the other two teams I faced, which had Colossals or other high point figures, didn't do so well. So, yeah. Still, it was fun. Had fun with Trigon. So, yeah. Anyway. So, this this next game will be focusing on the recently announced new HeroClix rules rules changes for 2021. Basically, my group will be trying them out on our own to see what we think. This is not like it's going to change anything. If we don't like how they work, well, too effing bad. Just have to wait till WizKids changes them again and hope that they don't make them worse. To be fair, though, most of them actually don't sound too bad. So, now the first, I'm actually going to mention, there's one thing I'll mention because it's not going to apply to the video otherwise. One of the things they brought up was the benching of powers. The basic idea being that certain powers will be benched for a certain period of time, meaning that you won't really see them often in sets. So, it has no bearing on how the game will be played aside from what is available on new figures. So, yeah, okay, there. The benching part, the segment on benching is done. I could really care less about benching. So, first off, pushing damage. It's gone. In fact, the symbol for Indomitable, the shield with the line through it there, that starting with the upcoming Wonder Woman set, will be the standard defense symbol from here on out. And it will work as Indomitable does now, wherein a character no longer... But yeah, now no figures take pushing damage. So, what does that mean for willpower, though? As willpower is a standard power that appears on dials. Because not everyone that can avoid pushing damage has Indomitable. Well, willpower is now basically self-leadership. Much like with leadership, at the beginning of your turn, roll a d6. On a 5 or a 6, remove an action token from a friendly character. Or remove an action token from yourself instead of a friendly character. Next up, Colossal Stamina is being replaced with Giant Size. Giant Size, the targeting and movement, everything concerning targeting and movement is the same as previously. They have an enhanced version of willpower built in, where they succeed on a 3 through a 6, and the ability itself is protected from Pulse Wave, which the basic idea being that it kind of it avoids any wonky rules arguments. So I'm all for that. Masters the Old Team ability, which was Colossal Stamina, is now just if I remember the same as the PD and Hydra, or at least similar to PD and Hydra. But next up, power-wise, Leap Climb changed. It's now improved movement, ignores elevated terrain, outdoor blocking terrain, and characters. And it is considered to be always on. So therefore, Leap Climb is no longer a move action. It is just, when this character moves, they have improved movement, ignores elevated, outdoor blocking, and characters. Or it's what I would generally refer to as a passive power, as in, it's always on. You don't have to do a special action just to activate it. Telekinesis, the object attack option is gone. It's now basically just about placing friendly characters and objects. Though there have been some questions as to whether it's friendly objects or just objects. So we'll see. Close and range combat expert. Much like with Leap Climb, they are now both passive abilities. And rather than it being you choose to modify attack or damage by 2 or both by 1 each, you just modify one. You modify them both by 1 each, and yeah, perplex. Perplex can't target damage anymore. Okay. I mean, we've actually had a lot of figures with perplex with special perplexes lately that basically, which straight up say, target multiple friendly characters, or is used normally, or target increase the value by +2, value except the combat value except damage by +2. So we've been seeing a lot of you can do this with anything but damage for a little while now. So it was kind of, I honestly kind of see it as that was probably just the test to see how well it works. There's some changes to theme team rules. First off, the map bonus is now a max of 3. So if you have a, say, massive swarm team, better hope you roll high for that map roll, because you're just getting +3 to the bonus. Honestly, I really don't much care for that. I can see some upsides on it because yes, you can then disincentivize massively huge builds where people say, yes, this is just so I can pick this is so I can pick the map and decide where we're playing. But also, theme team probability control has been changed up. There's now a max of 3. It no longer gives an action token. I actually really like that because I'll be honest, that's the number one reason I forget about theme team probability control is I just don't want to inadvertently give someone an action token when I might want to use them on the next turn. And finally, generic theme teams get theme team probability control back. Way back in the before times, when they first introduced theme teams, it was just, here are the theme team rules. There were some slight differences between a named theme team and a generic theme team. It was easier for a named theme team to get. It was easier to calculate how many theme props a named theme team had compared to a generic theme team. Basically, a named team got more often. It was like 1 for every 100 points of the build. 1 per character per 100 points of the build or something. And then with generics, it was like 1 per character per 150 points of the build. But yeah, now generic theme teams get the same thing. And certain figures that basically make a generic keyword a named keyword. Not all, but some are getting errated for that. Namely, Venom Captain America and the upcoming High Evolutionary. I'm kind of surprised that they forgot about Spy Master. But yeah, Spy Master basically just became useless, though. I hate to say it. That figure is now absolutely useless because the only thing that was the best thing about him was he makes Spy a named theme team, and well, now all theme teams are basically named. So, oh well. I'm not complaining. I'm not. I don't much like that change, but it's not. Yeah, it's not. Doesn't kill the game for me. Next up, we've got hindering terrain, which no longer hinders movement, just line of fire. Hence why Leap Climb does not include improved movement, ignores hindering terrain. That's cool. I like that. And their reasoning was pretty spot on. That if an average human athlete can leap over a fence or a hedge or something, there's no reason that Batman or Apocalypse can't do the same thing. So yeah, Close combat, the multiple target bolts can actually be utilized in close combat as well. My only problem with that is it kind of makes everything it makes it feel like everything is Quake, but especially if you have a high enough damage value or it is if you have a high enough basically if you have a high enough damage value, it kind of makes everything feel like Quake. But then again, you're only really split the damage up so far, because as I understand, you still have to split the damage. You'll still have to split the damage up, much like with multiple targets on a range attack. And finally, knockback. So knockback's max is 3, which okay, all right. To be completely honest, there were a lot of there were a lot of just kind of, I don't want to say disagreements or arguments about knockback, but over the years, knockback was basically you would be knocked back a number of squares equal to damage dealt. But is it damage dealt or damage taken? So you're dealt 5, but that invincible says you only take 3. So you're knocked back 3, you're knocked back 5. Also, knockback damage has been gotten rid of. That's what I'm not too fond of that either, but whatever. Anyway, so on to the builds. Because with the new rules, we opted for a fairly small build of 300 points. So first off, we got ourselves a Marvel Knights team. So we include Misty Knight here. Misty comes in at 40 points. Has the PD and Spider-Man ally team abilities, as well as the Defenders, Heroes for Hire, Marvel Knights, Detective, Martial Arts, and Police keywords. Looking at her dial, we get a few clicks of the special speed power Late Night Fieldwork, which is her stealth and sidestep, followed by a couple clicks of plasticity. On attack, she starts off with nothing but clicks to incapacitate. On defense, she's got a few clicks of toughness, followed by a couple clicks of combat reflexes. On damage, we open up with a few clicks of close combat expert. So she'll actually get to take advantage of, making when she makes a close combat attack on its first 3 clicks, you get to modify. She'll open up on that first click. She'll be doing potentially an 11 attack for 4 damage, and then she gets a couple clicks of empower at the end. Okay. Now, empower and enhancement will still work the same way to modify damage values. In a for their respective attack types, but yeah. One downside to the whole perplex thing is you can't perplex down an opponent's damage value anymore. So yeah, perplexing down damage is that's gonna be something. But to be perfectly honest, it's not something I did that often. I mean, sure, if I had a character who had perplex, it could only be used to target opposing characters. Okay, sure. But yeah, otherwise, Anyways, moving on. Next up, we've got the Punisher. This is one of my favorite Punisher sculpts. Just the simplicity of it. I mean, the greatest Punisher sculpt of all time is still the one from the Civil War OP or organized play set. That's the best Punisher sculpt ever. But that is just it's so simple, it's perfect. Anyway, Punisher comes in at 50 points. He's got the Marvel Knights and Soldier keywords. He's got 2 traits. First is a shifting focus trait. He can be swapped out for another character with the shifting focus Punisher trait. The other version is more close combat based, and instead of a rocket launcher, is holding a knife. But I'm not using that. I'm really just ignore it. Then we have Marvel Knights. At the end of the game, for all characters with this trait, choose one. Characters using this trait have a minimum attack value of 10, or characters using the trait are wild cards. Okay. Likely we're going to be going with the minimum attack value of 10 for Punisher. Looking at his dial, on attack or speed, we open up with nothing, followed by some sidestep. On attack, we open with special power Rocket Propelled Grenade. When Punisher hits a single opposing character with a ranged attack, instead of dealing normal damage, deal that target 4 damage, and deal each character adjacent to the target 3 damage. Okay, alright. That then gives way to some energy explosion. Defensively speaking, we open with toughness followed by energy shield deflection. Okay. Alright. It's rather bare bones, Frank, I'll admit, but it's not terrible. Next up, we've got Luke Cage. Cage here comes in at 60 points, has the Spider-Man ally team ability, as well as the Avengers, Defenders, Heroes for Hire, and Marvel Knights keywords. Looking at his dial, we open up with a quick charge on speed, followed by some sidestep, followed by plasticity. Super swings on attack, followed by quake. On defense, we open up with special power, Get Behind Me, Danny, which gives him invulnerability and willpower. When an opposing character within line of fire makes a range attack, adjacent friendly characters can use toughness. Okay. That then gives way to toughness. Then we got leadership and close combat expert. So yeah, we actually do get on with Cage. We get that combination of willpower and leadership. Whereas when he's adjacent to a friendly character, he can, at the end of their turn, roll a d6 to remove an action token from them, and then after doing that, he can roll a d6 and remove one from himself too, if on the right roll, on the right result. Next up, we've got Moon Knight, because I haven't run Moon Knight in a long time. Mooney here comes in at 75 points, has the Avengers, Heroes for Hire, Marvel Knights, Martial Artist, Mystical, and Soldier keywords. We've got improved movement, ignores elevated terrain, as well as a trait, Cycle to the Moon. At the beginning of your turn, remove a moon token from this card, and if you can't, place a moon token on this card. There's a moon token on this card, modify Moon Knight's combat values by +1, and he can use willpower. Okay, alright. Actually, it was pointed out to me one thing you could potentially do with that is you could use is at the beginning of your turn when he has the moon token, you could opt to use the willpower first and then remove the token. So now it's one of the older cards, so it doesn't have the dial on it, but we open up with a special speed power Night Hunter, which gets him charge, running shot, and stealth. That then gives way to some sidestep. On attack, we open up with nothing, but he clicks into Precision Strike, followed by Blaze Claw's Fangs. Defensively speaking, we open with toughness, followed by combat reflexes, followed by regeneration. On damage, we open up with exploit weakness, which then gives way to close combat expert. Okay, all right. I could. He's definitely going to be. Yeah, this is gonna. Honestly, Moon Knight's probably gonna do a bit better. I think the one big thing is going to be remembering the moon token thing. Finally, we've got Ghost Rider from the Fantastic Four Fast Forces. Ghost Rider here comes in at 75 points. He has the Fantastic Four and Mystic team abilities, as well as the Fantastic Four, Marvel Knights, Midnight Suns, and Mystical keywords. We got 2 traits, neither of which are actually going to matter, but new kind of fantastic teamwork. When he hits with a close attack, until your next turn in front of his FF keyword can use exploit weakness. The new Fantastic Four, which is passenger 1, but he can only carry characters with the Fantastic Four keyword. We don't have any flyers, so no one's going to be able to carry him. But once per turn, when he's carried in place adjacent to 2 or more opposing characters after resolutions, you may make a close attack. But no one's got flight, so no one's going to be carrying Ghost Rider. Looking at his dial, we've got a few clicks of running shot, followed by a few clicks of plasticity. We open up a special attack power, No Hiding from Vengeance, or Judgment. Penetrating Psychic Blast, improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain. Now, remember what I said, hindering terrain no longer hinders movement, but it does still hinder line of fire. When making a range attack, if Ghost Rider's line of fire crosses hindering terrain, modify attack and damage by +1. Okay, alright. Then we get some poison. On defense, we've got some invulnerability followed by toughness. On damage, we get some late dial exploit weakness. Okay. Next up, we got ourselves a Justice League team. Starting things off with the question. Question here comes in at 40 points, has the JLA team ability as well as the Justice League Detective Martial Arts and Reporter keywords. We got 2 traits. Justice League Unlimited. Being return, roll a d6 on a 6, remove an action token from another friendly character with the Justice League keyword that's 100 points or less. And then Question Authority. It's a power action. If there's no d6 on this card, roll 1 and place it on the card. Whenever a character within 6 squares in line of fire makes an attack roll, just an attack roll, mind you, you may remove the d6 from this card and replace a die in the roll with it. Okay. Looking at his dial, you get a full run of stealth, a couple of special attack power, asking questions. At the end of your turn, smoke cloud at no cost, but only to generate 1 marker. Defensively speaking, he's got combat reflexes. Then we get a couple clicks about wit, followed by a couple clicks of perplex. Okay. We got Huntress. Huntress here comes in at 40 points as well. Has the Batman Ally team ability, which does still grant her stealth. It also has the Batman Family Birds of Prey, Justice League, and Martial Arts keywords. Justice League Unlimited trait, as well as another trait. Where are you going to take me out on a real date, Q? Free. Turn Huntress to the same click number but a different color. Because she basically has 2 dials on one. Let's take a look at those 2 dials. So first off, we've got ourselves a range combat dial, running shot, energy explosion, initial deflection, and range combat expert. Then we've got a close combat dial, charge, quake, combat reflexes, and close combat expert. Not too shabby. Not too shabby at all. I can definitely see some utility here, especially those full runs of combat expert. I mean, that's going to basically have her attack value always beefed up by 1. So yeah. Next up, we've got Black Canary. Black Canary comes in at 45 points, has the JLA team ability as well as the Birds of Prey, Justice League International, and Martial Arts keywords. She has the Justice League Unlimited trait. And we're also going to be using her team up card with the Flash. If the Flash is on the map, Black Canary can use super senses. So looking at her dial, we open up with a click of sidestep, then we get a couple clicks of charge and back to sidestep. We start and end with a special attack power, Canary Cry, which gives her penetrating psychic blast. When she uses it and hits, after resolutions, knock back all opposing characters adjacent to the hit target 2 squares. Then we open up with some willpower that gives way to combat reflexes, and we have some mid-dial close combat expert. All right, now close combat expert will definitely come in handy with those 2 clicks of charge, especially the first click, where you have both charge and close combat expert, because she'll have a 12 attack for 4 damage. That's nothing to sneeze at, especially on a 45-point figure. Next up, we've got Speedy. Speedy also comes in at 45 points. Has the Justice League, Outlaws, Outsiders, 7 Soldiers, and Teen Titans keywords. He has the Justice League Unlimited trait, as well as another trait, Quantum Arrow. Power. Once per game, choose a square within range and line of fire. Then Speedy can use Pulse Wave at no cost as if he occupied that square. That has actually come in. That is a power that's come in great handy for me in the past. So yeah. Looking at his dial, we open up with a couple of clicks of a special speed power, Mobile Arsenal, which gives him running shot and leap climb. Which means, and that with the leap climb changes, he doesn't have to worry about elevated terrain, characters, or outdoor blocking terrain. Then we get some sidestep, followed by an ending click of just regular running shot. On attack, we have some energy explosion, followed by precision strike. The defense, we open up with energy deflection, which then gives way to willpower. That's going to be a real plus, I think, with the change into willpower. You have a lot of figures that have late dial willpower, so whereas most cards' leadership have it at the beginning of their dial. Then you've got mid to late dial range combat expert. Okay, all right. Next up, we've got Green Arrow. Green Arrow here comes in at 60 points. Has the JLA team ability as well as the Justice League 7 Soldiers and Star City keywords. He also has improved movement, ignores elevated terrain. We have the Justice League Unlimited trait, as well as another trait. Say, ah, dirtbag. Modify attack +1 for each friendly character that Green Arrow shared a keyword with that has been KO'd this game. Modify damage +3, but only if Green Arrow is the only character on your force. Okay. Now, looking at Green Arrow's dial. We get a couple clicks of running shot, followed by some sidestep. On defense, we open up, or on attack, we open up with some energy explosion, followed by a special attack power. Someone needs to be here to speak for the little guy. Steal energy with close or range attacks. Okay, that'll get the healing up. Defense, we open up with inertial deflection, which then gives way to the special power. The Justice League goes on, with or without you. Toughness, willpower, but only if a friendly character that Green Arrow shared a keyword with has been KO'd this game. Okay, by that point you've probably lost a teammate or two, so yeah. Then we get some leadership on damage, followed by some mid to late dial range combat expert. Oh yeah, this Green Arrow is going to be a beast. An absolute beast. And finally on the team, we've got the Flash. Flash has 65 points, has the JLA team ability, as well as the Central City, Justice League, Celebrity, and Speedster keywords. He also has improved movement, ignores elevated terrain. The Justice League Unlimited trait. He also has an additional trait, around the world in 80 milliseconds. Free. The Flash occupies a square on the edge of the map, and that edge is the longest edge of the map or tied for it. Place him in the same row or column on the opposite edge of the map from that edge. He can be placed in a starting area this way. Okay. And we're going to be using his team up with his Black Canary team up. If Flash and Black Canary both on the map, Flash can use probability control, but only when targeted by a close attack. Okay. So, looking at his dial, we've got a full run of the special speed power across the city in the blink of an eye, which gives him hypersonic speed. As a free action, modifies speed by +3, but he can only move in direct paths. Okay. On attack, we've got nothing until the last couple clicks where we get some late dial precision strike. Then on defense, we've got super senses. Alright, okay. Not bad. But yes, there are some of these figures that are going to be extremely useful, or much more useful now with the rules changes. It's kind of a shame I have to pick one team to run someday, because I'm kind of thinking about it now. I'm kind of just like, I kind of want to run each of these. But we've still got one more team to look at. We've got ourselves an Avengers team. Starting things off with none other than Sharon Carter, Agent 13 herself. Sharon comes in at 35 points, has the S.H.I.E.L.D. team ability, as well as the Avengers, S.H.I.E.L.D., Politician, and Spy keywords. We got two traits. First off is Espionage, which grants her stealth and improved targeting, ignores hindering terrain. Then we have Best Part of My Day. Leadership. If Sharon Carter is adjacent to a friendly character named Captain America or Steve Rogers, she knows characters increase the result of their D6 rolls for leadership by +1, if not already increased by trait with this name. Okay. Well, Cap's not on the team, so yeah. Looking at the rest of her, looking at her dial itself, kind of short. We got a click of sidestep on speed. On defense, we overlap a couple clicks of inertial deflection, followed by a click of defend with a 14 defense. There is a good reason for that too. On damage, we open up with a special power, stand by for updates, which gives her perplex, and when she uses it to target another character, friendly character with the shield keyword, now it has to be another friendly character, not herself. That character can use outwit until your next turn. Then on her last click, she's got support, which works very well with that defend, and her 9 attack. So yeah. Oh, ooh. Feels good. Next up, we've got Voyager. Voyager comes in at 50 points, has the Avengers and Power Cosmic team abilities. She also has the Avengers, Elders of the Universe, and Cosmic keywords. We have two traits. First off is, I sense a greater challenge. At the end of the game, if an opponent's force includes an additional game element, heal Voyager one click past her starting line to click number 0. So, equipment, special terrain, a map bonus, stuff like that. Next up, we have Avengers Assemble. Passenger 1 or Passenger 2, or not 2, 3. But only to carry characters that share a keyword with her. And she may carry characters with the flight or giant damage symbols. Okay, sure. Flight or damage symbols. Looking at her dial, we've got phasing teleport on speed, including on click 0 here. On attack, we open up on both click 0 and click 1 with a special power, straining my powers of teleportation, which gives her telekinesis but only to place characters when Voyager uses it. Neither she nor the target character's square need line of fire to the destination square. Okay, alright. On defense, she's got a couple clicks. That then gives way to regular telekinesis. Then on defense, she's got a couple clicks. A click on click if you start on click 1, 2 if you start on click 0 of inertial deflection. On damage, she starts off with perplex, which then gives way to outwit. If you start her on click number 0, she starts off with outwit though. Now, one thing to note with the willpower change, power cosmic, cosmic energy, quintessence, Q continuum, all these powers are still worded as protected, all caps, outwit, and willpower. Meaning she's got willpower. She can still use willpower. If you want to remove a token from her, hey, roll that D6. Next up, we've got Quake. Quake comes in at 65 points, has the Shield and Avengers team abilities, as well as the Avengers and Humans Shield, Secret Warriors, and Spy keywords. We have the Assembled Avengers trait. Once per turn when she hits after resolutions, roll a D6. On a 5 or a 6, if you have 3 or more friendly characters with the Avengers keyword, remove an action token from Quake, or give an action token to a hit target. If you have 6 or more, do both. She has the Espionage trait, same as Sharon Carter. Looking at her dial, we got 2 clicks of charge, followed by a couple clicks of sidestep, then back to charge for a couple more clicks. A full run of the special attack power, pinpoint earthquakes, or just earthquakes. Quake. When Quake uses it, you may choose one. Choose an unoccupied square within her range, and she may use Quake as if she occupied that square, or Quake can use Giant Reach X, where X is her click number. So, at first you might want to do the choose an unoccupied square within range. Not range in line of fire, just range. And her range is 5 squares, I might add. Looking at the rest of the dial, we've got some combat reflexes followed by willpower. Damage-wise, we open up with Empower, which then gives way to Close Combat Expert, which then gives way to Battle Fury. Okay, alright. And yeah, that Close Combat Expert's going to go nicely with with everything else, so yeah. Next up, we've got Spider-Man. Miles Morales here, coming in at 65 points. He's got the Spider-Man Ally and Ultimates team abilities, as well as the Avengers, Champions, Shield, Spider-Man Family, and Ultimates keywords. We've got improved movement, ignores elevated terrain. We also have a trait, Dimensional Travel Watch, which since no one else on the team has the Spider-Man Family keyword, we're not bothered with the Dimensional Watch. Looking at his dial, we open up with a few clicks of special speed power, a slightly different genetically engineered spider, which gives him plasticity, sidestep, and stealth. We get a couple clicks of charge, followed by, and then back to the special power. On attack, the same. We open up a special attack power, Shocking Web Blast, giving him Precision Strike. When he's given a move action and moves 5 squares or less, after resolutions, he can use Incapacitate as range at no cost and may use to target all opposing characters in range and line of fire. That is basically how Incapacitate is going to be working as close as well from here, with the being able to target multiple characters in attacks without using Flurry or something similar. Flurry or Quake, I should say. On defense, we open up with after Shocking Web Blast, we get a couple clicks of Super Strength, followed by another click of Shocking Web Blast. On defense, we open up with Super Senses, followed by Combat Reflexes. Damage-wise, we open up without Wit, which then gives way to some late dial shape change. Okay, and yes, as per usual, part of the reason he's on the team is to give Hawkeye, the ultimate team ability. So Hawkeye comes in at 75 points, has the team player team ability, as well as the Avengers, Shield, Thunderbolt, and martial arts keywords. He also has improved targeting. May make ranged attacks out of adjacency, including to a target adjacent opposing characters. He has the Assembled Avengers trait, same as Quake, as well as another trait, Not Tricks, Tactical, which gives him Precision Strike. He can use Precision Strike or Range Combat Expert, even while targeting more than one target. Okay, alright. Now, I think that part, the Range Combat Expert part, where it says you could, he gets to do that to, more than one target, I think it's basically kind of a, yeah, he can do it, but it's like, I think now with the way Range Combat Expert works, I don't think he's going to be able to, I don't think that last part's going to matter as much. But he is said to be one of the big winners. Let's take a look at his dot. So, we open up on speed with a special power, Hawkeye. Granting him running shot, sidestep, and stealth. Okay. Then we get regular sidestep, then back to the special power. Defensively, or attack-wise, we open up with Incapacitate, followed by Energy Explosion, then back to Incap. Defense, we open up with Willpower, which then gives way to a few clicks of Energy Deflection, and back to Willpower. And we once again have that combination of Willpower and Leadership. On damage, he opens up with Leadership, and then that gives way to Range Combat Expert. But yeah, on his first couple of clicks, he can do he can remove an action token from, potentially speaking, remove an action token both from himself and an adjacent friendly character. Now, we are actually 10 points shy on this team, so I decided, why not make Hawkeye even just that little teensy bit better? So, we're including the Power Gem. Now, the Power Gem will not start the game equipped to Hawkeye, but it will be out there for him, and the intention will be to give it to him. The Power Gem modifies damage by +1, grants the equipped character Close Combat Expert and Range Combat Expert. When the character hits, if the attack roll was 10 or higher, after resolutions, deal a hit target 1 penetrating damage. Okay, alright. But with that, Hawkeye can use Range Combat Expert for his entire dial. And, for that matter, also Close Combat Expert. But the Range Combat Expert would be really important, especially with the running shot. So, you could sidestep for 2, then run out for up to 5. Range Combat Expert in effect, that's 12, so 13 with a 4 damage, and then Power Gem gives him additional 1 more, so that's 5 damage. Whew. Yeah, yeah, he's gonna be, yeah. Oh yeah, he definitely is one of the big winners. Anyway, that's it for now. As always, feel free to like, share, and subscribe. Links to my Facebook, Twitter, Patreon, and PayPal can be found in the description box down below. This is Rock and Roll Spock signing off, saying live long and rock hard.